Here we go. Hey, oh, we need an intro, Sandy. It's the Sandy and Mark show. It's the Mark and Sandy show. It's the Sandy and Mark show. Go ahead, sing. Now you sing it, so you get your.
It's the Sandy and Mark show, the Sandy and Mark show, the Mark and Sandy show. You don't want to miss it.
Yay! Well, they're not missing it. They're here. So
You need to go call your friends and neighbors. You need to call everybody else because Mark and Sandy are on the air.
yeah,
And
now that I have that clip. Oh, it's a black raccoon. Now that I have that clip, I can make us up an intro. So, hi everybody. I am Sandy Craig,
And I'm Mark David Smith.
and we defy you to be able to tell the difference between the two of us. Can't you see? So, there you go. That's actually, I'm the one with the hair.
Okay.
Okay. Now, from what I'm seeing, actually, I think Sandy cut hers a little bit ago, but I don't think I'm about either as long or you're longer than mine. What do you think?
Well, I know that 5 inches left, so
Okay. Well, we're close. We're see, that's the whole thing. Hey sister, what's up?
What's up? Well, I am back from my quick trip to Austin, and hallelujah, I don't like Austin.
Heavy week. You don't like Austin? Oh my
God. It is a liberal mess.
You can walk down any street in Austin and be higher than a kite.
Literally.
All the smoke in the air and everything. From what I understand, it's a prerequisite that you have marijuana growing in your backyard just to live in Austin.
Well, I'm not sure about that, but I ran into some people that were very vile. So, they were vile. Yeah, they were vile.
Heavy week for you then, huh?
It was. It was. But you know what? I'm back in Amarillo, Texas. Hallelujah for that. I was so glad to be home. But I still think, y'all, that we could make the trip real quick and take care of what we needed to take care of and get back here. So, but I missed everybody on my show.
We missed you too. There was a void in the week's lineup. I'm going to start calling it the Brown Label Show because when a show cancels for that week, you get this little brown banner. I mean, very negative looking brown banner. This show has been canceled for this week. Be sure and come back next week. I don't know, like the Wicked Witch of the West flying with her broom across it or something.
That's bad.
No,
I have a question for you.
Huh?
I have a question for you.
I've got an answer.
Totally off the wall. Have you ever desired to type anything with your nose? In the midst of doing and juggling all the things that you're doing at once, do you just want to type, work over here and type with your nose? No? Did you know that's actually a Guinness World Record challenge?
To type with your nose.
Yeah. Vinod Kumar Chaudhary actually practiced for hours every day typing. Guinness World Records have challenge, and he has the fastest nose typing. He set the record with a time of 46.3 seconds, whatever that means. Who would even think of that? Who would think of that?
Sandy, I sometimes I'm lay there and thinking about you, and I think the first thing that comes to my mind is, Sandy is probably the one person that has the biggest library of useless facts that I have ever heard in my life. But you know me, and that's actually a plus to me. I like knowing people with useless facts. So,
well, I thought you were right up there with me, actually. I don't know. Maybe not.
I love it. Here, I want to show everybody. Let's do the screen one. Present to everybody. So here it goes. Oh, can you see that?
I do see that.
See, that's what everybody gets when a show gets can't. See, I have to make sure today's broadcast has been canceled, not the whole show, and make sure it says please come back next week at this time. So, see, that's what everybody gets when you don't do your show for that week.
So that's what they saw this week instead of walking in spirit and truth. How sad.
Well,
sad.
When they went to, everybody's getting together and they're saying, okay, it's getting about time for John and Sandi walking in spirit truth. And they go on to the Lamb Network and they look down and there's this brown banner sitting there.
Well, I will say this. I did text some of the regulars that I know are on our show, the ones I have their numbers for, and tell them we weren't going to be there.
Look at you.
Yeah.
You.
The ones that, so if you're listening and you want me to be able to text you too, if there's unforeseen circumstances, send me your number. Yeah, do that.
Sandi, I got your number.
You got my number. That's for sure.
Okay, well that's good. Well, it's not good that you weren't there, but that we understand. And so you've shared all that you want to share about your week this past week. You must have got a lot of rest because you went from Amarillo to Austin, and so the drive down and the drive back, and you must have had a place to stay. And I know you had a meeting down there. So, my gosh, you guys must have had a lot of rest because that's a pretty long drive.
Oh, yeah. Lots of rest. We left Sunday morning, drove till about 6:30 that evening. Went and got something to eat. Got into the room. I fell asleep at 8:30, which I never do. Got up. We had 2 meetings. The first one, I cried like 6 times. Yeah.
Oh.
And the guy we were meeting with was counting and he bragged about it.
Oh.
Huh. Yeah. He says, I only made you cry 6 times. I've done it more to others. And I was like, wow, you're just a nice guy. And then a few hours later, we had another meeting.
Doesn't it make you want to carry a double barrel shotgun around with you? I mean, concealed. I mean, a double-barreled shotgun about that long, concealed on you. But when people act like that, you just kind of pull back your long overcoat and just let them see the edge of it and say, "Now, what was that you said?"
Well, I can tell you that I legally can carry something, and I'm not saying whether I do or I don't, but I legally can carry something.
See, that should be the new standard for us in America. And I know now you guys in Texas, you guys will never see a Muslim, not one that wants to take over the country because they know about Texas. But see, that's what I want to do from now on is I want to start carrying on my side and wear an overcoat, and then somebody gives me a hard time, I just kind of take that back and just kind of tuck it back behind and lean to the side like this and put my hip out, and what'd you say?
I'm laughing. I can just picture that. Now, picture me, all 5 foot barely too. Yeah.
Just need a bigger gun, Sandi. That's all.
My gun is called. I don't know if I should say that on air.
A little pistol and a double barrel shotgun going to do the same thing.
I will say this. I have one that's called the Judge. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so Ultimately, we got through with our second meeting late on Monday, and I had told everybody that we were going to try to drive home Monday night. But when you got through Austin traffic and things, it's like pushing 7. And I was like, I can't drive for 8 hours. I can't get there in the morning early. I can't do it. So we headed back on Tuesday. And when we got here, we just were numb and we just sort of sat and just stared. But
Well,
we did meet one good guy. We met one lawyer we met with, the one that he is a Jewish man. And he basically said he started off the meeting completely opposite of the other one. And he was just a good guy. He says, I want to know this. I want to know Jonathan. I want to know the circumstances. I want to fight for you. And I found this very interesting. He said, I do not, if I think there's no hope, I say I won't work for you. He says, I have one person that's contacting me that's saying, hey, please fight for me. Please do that. He says, I can't because I don't believe there's any hope in the case. So anyway, but that was our trip. It was I did read to John, and he always has me read to him the whole trip. So we were reading.
How cool is that?
I read Joel Rosenberg's The Kremlin Conspiracy to him.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
It is good. He always says that I'm Sandi on CD because the first thing he says, are you going to read to me? Are you going to read to me?
Oh, yeah.
So now if he's working, I drive, of course, but he didn't work this trip. I read the whole way. So
I like it. That's pretty cool.
It's so much so that now I've found on Jonathan's last trip, he told Killian, his wife, he said, are you going to read to me like my mom reads to my dad?
So do you guys consider yourselves, or even individually at all, under the category of conspiracy theorists?
I will say that living with my husband has changed me a lot. And what the world calls conspiracy, people that research say is the truth. Mm-hmm. So would the liberal parties call us conspiracy theorists? Well, they sure are. They're going to call pretty much any right person a conspiracy theorist because they're in actuality, they're the ones manipulating and changing truth and lies. But yes, others would say that we are probably.
Okay.
But I don't know. Do you watch the news with John Craig?
There you go. Hey, coming up tomorrow morning. I'm working on it right now. As a matter of fact, before the show's over, I'm going to give a list of the news stories that is on the show tomorrow. And if anybody, did you get a chance to see? John said he watched a little bit of last week's.
I haven't, and I need to. I told him I would. So I've got to do it now. So my question is, you've watched at least, or because you put it together, conspiracy or truth? You answer the question.
You decide.
You decide.
I don't go there at all. I don't know. I mean, I may be, that way. I may not. My wife is 100% a conspiracy theorist. She's
a truth teller.
Well, let's put it this way. It's more like about the fact that she trusts no one whatsoever at all. I mean, it's just like, okay, or yeah, that sounds pretty right. But, I mean, we kind of got to the point, of course, we spent 16 years with Monty Judah. So, you gotta understand and weigh and balance some things based on, the time you spend with Monty. Monty is the best. I mean, he's amazing, but he helps to bring balance to a lot of things. I love the brother. But when it comes, I've had to say that it's just like games. I don't pay attention to the news a whole lot. I really don't, and that's why. It's one of the reasons. Actually, it really is the reason I've created our new Four Corners weekly news show. Is because then the people that I trust can find the most relevant news stories and bring them to me. I put them all together. Sandi, I'm speaking to everybody that's watching this. When you see our news show, our new news shows coming out, and we've actually done 2 weeks now, and John did everything on the past couple of weeks, and they're absolutely amazing. Now, I guess I was going to wait till the end of the show, but now we're just going to do it. Now we're putting up full-fledged uh, news show together, just like if you would tune into your TV at 7 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock, and it's the nightly news, and you see it. It's going to be real close based after that. Only these are going to be news stories that we put together. Rabbi Daryl Weinberg is anchoring the whole show, just like you would see on a regular news show, and then. We've already mentioned John. John has been doing it. He's got 6 different reports this week. I have 2 reports. Susan Hoogie has brought a report, and James and Abigail have taken their Israel update and sent it to me, and that's in there also. So we've got a couple of little things. Jamie Louie has a business, so he put together a little ad that we're going to present, and I put together a promo for the War Room. Speaking of the War Room, thanks for helping out this morning. I guess you were available, so we appreciate that. But it's kind of formatted like our updates that Susan and I put out every 2 weeks. And so I think you'll like it. If you haven't seen it before, haven't seen the one we've been doing with John, watch tomorrow morning. It'll be uploaded and ready to go by tomorrow morning.
And catch up with the past ones too.
What's that?
Catch up with the past ones too. Go watch the other ones.
Catch up with the past. To me, news is one of those, and I guess I could make a web page where you could go in and watch them. They are on YouTube under Four Corners, the playlist, and you can go in there and see the past ones that we've done. And I guess that's easier to do. We just put a link to that, and boy, I tell you, YouTube is awesome. How it keeps track of your archives, and you can make pages for that. You're just like, that's so awesome. Anyway, so real quick, let me put this together for you. Let's see, we got 2 here. Nope, already put it together. John has world at war news, world news, pro-life news, U.S. national news, faith in the news, which we're calling religion news, and a politics story. And I have one on a religious event, a Christian event that was put together, and also one on the tornadoes that happened earlier this week. We used to live in Tornado Alley there in Oklahoma, and so I did a little short spiel on that one. Susan did an article on Momo. Do you know what a Momo is?
Yes.
Never heard of it. See, that's why these are great, because I never heard of that. And Susan did an article on it, and so you'll get to see that video article with Susan on this, which I'm looking forward to. And what everybody should understand is that I don't watch any of them. All I do is load them into my video maker, and I organize them, put them together, and Daryl introduces them, and this one's there, and wham, there it is. You got yourself a newscast. So then afterwards, like John's last week, I didn't watch any of John's deals. I just shoved them in there, and watched the whole thing at once. And John's a natural, man. John is and I'm not just saying that because you're his main squeeze or anything, but he is a natural at this.
Well, as I said, he loves the news and he wants people to be informed of true news. I know we can't use that statement because there's a place that already uses true news, but he wants people to be informed of the truth and be prepared for whatever's happening, especially to pray. That's one thing, and I'm really bad about it because I don't listen to any news outside of him pretty much, or unless I do a little research on my own. But we do have things we need to pray about, and we don't know what to pray sometimes unless um, we're in the midst of it. We do a little research, just like Dina Dye has been really stepping into the political arena. Dr. Dina Dye.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah, she is fighting for New Mexico because New Mexico's run amok. And they elected liberal governor, liberal House, liberal Senate, and they have literally tried to remove any vestige of goodness out of the state. And Dina has started this uprising, and she's helping with declaring sanctuary cities for guns and fighting. She's getting involved and fighting, and she preaches, as we all should do, we need to be involved in fighting lest this happens in our own state. And I'm very proud of her, but again, it's news that we need to pray about for her, and then with these other people bringing things up, we know how to pray.
Well, I'm going to have to get a hold of her now and find out if she wants to submit some stuff to our news report.
Do that, and also she maybe she'll be on Walking this next week. You never know.
Oh, how cool. Very good. I mean, maybe she can come in and be a part of our panel, because, okay, so nice little segue, Sandi, that you helped us segue right into next week's show. And we are going to have a panel of guests. And the second Thursday of every month, Sandi and I bring a heavy topic to the arena, the planet arena, and topics that weigh heavy on the earth. As a matter of fact, some of these topics are so heavy it's almost thrown the earth off its axis. And so we're going to try to discuss these heavy topics and lighten the load a little bit off of the Earth's axis, so it doesn't take the Earth and make it spin out of control into the universe. And Sandi and I have come together to make sure that doesn't happen to this planet that we're on right now. And so,
yeah, we've got to make sure it doesn't spin out of control. It would without you flying the ship, right?
No, it's the topics that we talk about. That's
yeah, but you're the one that flies the ship.
Oh, whatever. You're the captainette. It's equal. You do it too. You're a helmsman just like me. So.
Hey, are you excited about what happens on Saturday night?
Saturday night. In other words, the time goes all askew.
Are you excited about that?
I don't even. You know what? I am so busy. My brain is so full and so scattered. I know it's coming up, but I don't know. What is it? Spring forward and fall back?
Yeah, spring forward. So we lose an hour of sleep.
We're what?
We lose an hour of sleep. It's a big deal.
That's not even the point to me. It's like the only thing I want to know is when the time says whatever it does on my clock, is it going to be light out earlier or later when I get up?
It's going to be lighter.
So, in other words, if I get up at 8 o'clock,
Oh, wait. Am I right? Hold on. Or darker. Okay, because right
see,
now it would be 10,
point
10 Central, so
exactly.
it'd be 11. So I guess darker. I don't know. Darker, I guess.
There you go. I,
Who knows? Who knows? All I know is that for many,
I get dark.
it takes adjustment. Just that hour takes adjustment.
Let's go to YouTube and see what's everybody saying. Is it going to be lighter when I get up, or is
Darker. It's darker. It's darker.
what?
I misspoke.
Well, they're not. The people in the chat room are not even.
They're not interested in that. We got to find something else like a 3-pound hairball.
Toba says she hates the time change. You know, I do too. And let me just use the. What'd you say?
I said we could talk about a 3-pound hairball.
No, we're on time right now, and you know, here's my deal. Honestly, I think the entire world needs to go on a 24-hour time clock. Period. No time zones, no nothing. If you start at, you know, one point, you know, around the earth, like in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, there's one place where it's just nothing but ocean, that if you'll start that at, say, midnight, and then it goes around the earth, you know, from that point on, if it's 1 o'clock in Eastern time zone, say for instance, like where we're at, it's also 1 o'clock in Central, and you know, all of that kind of stuff. There's no AM PM. Everywhere on earth it's 1 or it's 7 or see, wouldn't that be simpler? It has nothing to do with day or night or anything else. It's just that it's this time, and of course, as it goes around the earth, then finally, you know, then it's 2 and then it's 3 and like that, like it normally does. But it's the same all around the earth.
I think that would be complicated.
No, it's easier because then
but then you have to adjust. Oh, I'm going to X. Oh, at 1 p.m. it's going to be dark. So
see, that doesn't have anything to do with it, though. See, we've got that in our brain because the person that created AM and PM and all that stuff, that embedded it in our brains that way. See, so you know, it shouldn't have to work.
why don't you start a grassroots movement?
No, I'm not. No, I don't. I don't like. I don't go outside very much. So, you know.
Okay.
It means I'd probably have to mow it, you know, and I'm not into mowing. I don't get into that.
Okay, so we won't expect a grassroots movement with you.
No, it ain't gonna happen. To me, it's not. It causes like that you believe in, that you know is not gonna happen, because you have to deal with the big to-dos all over the planet. Nobody's gonna go with it, even though it's a simpler system. Why do people get into that kind of stuff? Why do people try to change the major things of the world that are like that when they know it ain't gonna happen? Why waste?
I don't know. There are some things I'd like to change. There are some big things, maybe not world things like time, but
time.
There are things like what Dr. Dye is doing right now that I wish people would rise up and do, including myself. We all need. Imagine, she is literally changing the world, changing her state. She's running for office.
Okay, cool.
You know, and she's just started because she says, enough, I've got to help. And so can one person change things? Yes. Even things that you think are bigger than you, she's doing it.
Cool. Very cool. That's what we all should be doing. If we could all rise up and do it, it'd be a different story, but it ain't going to happen. It just ain't going to happen.
Well, it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of work and tears and prayer. And
Well, that's one of my news stories you'll see that comes out tomorrow or whenever you watch it. The is about a big evangelical Christian evangelical thing called the Send that they did on February 23rd, and once again, you get hundreds or not hundreds, thousands, thousands, I think 70,000 people or something. And I used to be a part of stuff like that, YWAM and stuff like that when I was back living that lifestyle. And it's cool, it's great, it's good evangelical stuff. But my point that I get across on even talking about this is, there is no evangelical stuff in the Messianic lifestyle. We just don't do that. I mean, it's just, and that is the number one commission of our Messiah. Number one commission. But
we need to be doing it
around it. Well, they'll see my lifestyle and they'll
no
live it, and
no
I mean, there's excuses like crazy, but hey, I mean, I'm preaching to El Marco Supremo here, too. So, but I kind of make a point of it in my little newscast. But anyway, so all right, we talked about Sandy's week. I went to the doctor yesterday, and I got pretty devastating news that I'm going to reveal right here on the show. So, are you ready for it?
I'm holding my breath.
I have dandruff.
Oh no.
Yeah. I actually went to the doctor to find out that I have dandruff.
So what are you going to do, Mark?
I guess I'm going to have to shave my head, and massage the scalp and all that kind of stuff, and get it taken.
Have you ever seen that wire thing that people will put on their head that it's not a curl, but it's like a circle, and it feels pretty cool. You should buy one of those and just have Adina just massage your head.
Oh, I like the massage part of it. I'm just not real sure. The little other thing, the halo crown or whatever it is.
You would never cut your hair.
I would never cut my hair. Me?
No.
No.
We should take a snapshot of that profile.
I mean, obviously there could be, specific, serious physical, medical problems or something that would make me have to cut my hair. I'll tell you, when I went to the dermatologist yesterday, I was prepared for her to say, "Oh, you have this real serious condition that is spreading, and unless you shave your head, and take care of this with all this medicine and stuff like this, it's going to seep into your brain, and it's going to cause I was prepared for all that, but hey, so I went in and I was sitting there clenched to the chair, and she's looking at the little things on my head, and she's checking things and talking to me. She says, "Well, Mr. Smith, I have to tell you, you have chronic dandruff." So there you go.
Did she give you a dandruff shampoo prescription?
She did. Kind of like in a bottle of, looks like tonic or something. It looks like old world stuff.
Does it stink?
Huh?
Does it stink?
Oh, I haven't touched it yet. I mean, I wasn't going to use a brand new product on my head, when I took a shower, knowing that I had to come and be in front of all the masses, who I don't know how it would turn out once I wash my hair. So I haven't used it yet. This was just yesterday.
See, as a girl, the first thing we would do is smell it.
Smell it? Yeah.
Yeah. That's what girls do.
My wife probably already has and just didn't tell me.
I'll say, Adina, does it stink or does it smell good? Let us know. That's the question.
What's the difference? What if it stinks? Do you have a prediction of what it will actually be like or do or something, rather than if it smells good?
No, but you want it to smell good. You
Uh,
want it to smell nice.
well, yeah, you want your hair to smell nice. Yeah, you don't want it to stink. Or I'm with you.
I mean, if it smells like rotten eggs, imagine that. You wash your hair with rotten eggs, you walk into a room, Mark, and everybody goes,
I'd have to
"Right."
go, here, smell it, smell it. Right here.
No, they might smell you pretty far away. Who knows?
Oh, don't you love doing video now? I mean, it's much better than the audio.
um, I don't
I know.
that.
I have to get up 3 hours before the broadcast, and I mean, the same thing with me. I had to prepare myself to look like Sandy Craig today.
Okay. Yes, and we're twins, and nobody can tell us apart, and that's our story, and we're sticking to it. So,
Well, if somebody wants to call in right now and be able to tell which one of us is Sandy Craig and which one of us is Mark Smith, I'll give you $1 million right now, and the number is 555-555-5555. Call in right now, and if you can tell which one of us is which, then I'll give you $1 million. So, on. What have you got for us, Sandy?
well, I wondered, have you ever wondered what the top 10 things are that we would not know without the movies? You
Oh,
and I are both movie people.
no, I've never wondered that, but you just say the word movie and I'm on it. Do you want me to? Do you want to do that first, or do you want to hear the two new movies I just watched?
I want to hear the two new movies you just watched.
Okay, so have next week's show, we're doing a show on, what did I call it? Everything but something. It's the LBGTQRS.
I watched that movie.
You watched Boy Erased?
Oh my goodness. I was like, honey, can we watch something funny now?
Uh huh.
I was like, that's so. Anyway,
Uh huh. Yeah,
I watched it,
that stuff is still going on all over the place.
but I'll save it for the show.
Did you read where all those people are today, including the main guy that was
Yes.
head over all that?
Yes.
It's just like whatever. Anyway, Adina actually saw it before I did. I had to back it up and look at it again, and yeah, I didn't read that right. Okay, if you get a chance, see that movie, Boy Erased. Heavy. Okay, so then right after that, now because I look at all the movies. I don't watch all the movies. I keep track of movies that are coming out. Consistently, I've got like 8 different sources where I'm constantly checking stuff, because some of them are pretty good. So I find the young man, Hedges. I can't think of his first name. Jeremy Hedges, something like that. That played the young guy in Boy Erased, is also in a movie that just came out on DVD called Ben is Back. And Julia Roberts plays his mother. And let me tell you what, whatever the deal is on, you see Boy Erased and you see this kid and the part he played, the kid is a good actor. I mean, he is really good actor. His dad is Peter Hedges, which is a big movie writer, screenplay writer, director, producer out there, has done lots of different movies. And this kid's dad is a big shot in Hollywood. But Julia Roberts, they cast her for this part in this this movie called Ben is Back, and she pushed to get this kid to play the part of this kid. Now, in this new movie, he doesn't play anybody gay. He doesn't act gay. I don't know in real life if he's even gay. I sure hope he's not. But man, that kid is a good actor. And the movie is about a kid that has he's a drug addict, and his parents has sent him to several rehabs. And this whole movie, Ben is Back, is a 24-hour period of time from the time he just shows up on Christmas Eve and what happens for the next 24 hours. And I read one place where it says it's the most emotional role that Julia Roberts has ever done, and it's a good movie. I mean, it's a really good movie. There's language. There's a few language, which I hate, but I can handle it. And that's good. It's a good movie if you can get past that. I like that kind of stuff. I love the agenda behind it and the whole thing. That's a good one. I'm going to tell you, I may never watch a Sylvester Stallone movie again. I mean, I was going to name my daughter after Sylvester Stallone. You've heard me say this before. Actually, Sarah's name, if Donna would have let me, would have been Sylvester Dillon Smith. Whether it was a girl or a boy, I don't care what it was. Her name was supposed to be so. And if it was Sylvester Dillon, we'd call her Silly Dilly.
That's horrible. That is so horrible.
It's not at all. But anyway, so after Sylvester Stallone, my favorite actor, and Bob Dylan, my favorite singer, and of course Anita didn't let me do it, and of course right after that, we made it sure that we were never going to have kids again, because I think she thought if she got to name the first one, then if we made sure we were never going to have kids again, that I couldn't use hey, you named the first one, I get to name the next one. So anyway, but Sylvester Stallone, I've loved him. The Rocky movies, several other things that he's done has just been absolutely amazing. They picked up on a new one with Creed, which turned out to be, following it with the character of Rocky. Came out, was extremely good. The black actor that was in there was very good. Creed 2 is out. I haven't seen it yet, but I know it's good. Anyway, Sylvester Stallone's put out a couple of movies since that just are absolutely 100% horrible.
Like what?
Well, he did a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, which from social media accounts say that the two of them have been rival enemies, since for their whole movie career. But then, they did a movie together called Escape Plan, and it was a really, really, really good movie with the two of them. Well, Stallone decided he wanted to do an Escape Plan too. That movie, literally one of the absolute worst movies I've ever seen in my life. Horrible. And then now he's got one just came out on DVD called Backtrace. And once again, absolutely horrible filming, horrible directing, horrible acting. As a matter of fact, this bad guy stole $20 million, hid it 7 years later. Stallone plays a cop that's been after this guy for 7 years since he robbed a bank. And apparently this guy was supposed to have buried the $20 million. Well, the guy gets out of prison, he gets broke out of prison so they can find the 20 million. And he finds the 20 million, and I'm going to tell you the end because I don't want you watching this stinking movie. I'm just going to tell you straight out. Stallone kills all the other bad guys and lets this guy go with his $20 million. He says, 7 years, you've served your time, go start a new life. And they drive off, and there's Stallone. Of course, Stallone shows up at the end and kills 20 bad guys by himself, and it's kind of like, Sly, dude, you can do so much better. So much better. Let somebody else produce your movies. Don't produce and direct any more movies, Sly. Just don't do it. And don't watch this movie. It's a waste. And most movies are about 2 hours long, right?
Yeah.
Some of them are a little short, hour and 30 minutes. Some of them are long, about 3 hours. This one's like an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh, that's short.
Those TV shows are longer than this stinking movie, And when I saw that, it's like, yeah, well, maybe it's a good thing because I don't have to waste any more of my time watching this stinking movie. So anyway, that's my deal. Now, so there's your movie review, for this week. And anyway, there you go. So what do you got?
Well, I actually have the top 10 things you wouldn't know without the movies. So it takes everything you've learned for the movies. And number one, or I guess I should start at the bottom. No, I'm going to start here. I don't know where to start. I'm not like you usually put the order together, but we know for movies that it is always possible to park directly outside the building you're visiting, always, without exception.
Now what?
In other words, you always will have a parking space in front of the building you need to go to. We see that in movies, and movies are always true, right?
Oh, I see. I get so in movies.
They're teaching us.
If you basically, let's put it this way: if you pattern your life after movies, then you will always have a parking place in front of everywhere you're going to go.
Exactly, with no problems whatsoever.
Not true. It's actually not true. I can think of a movie right now that I watched where they had to park across the street, down the street, and walk across the street to where. Sorry, Sandi.
Okay, and here's the next one.
Probably the number 10. Then that's the least. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just giving you a hard time.
It's okay. Another thing we've learned is that, and it's got to be true because it's in the movies,
okay, that
any detective can always solve a case once he's been suspended.
Okay, all right, that's true. And then they're free to do whatever they want to because they don't have to. This is good. I like doing this. Because then I can explain really what's going on. Because when they are literally on the clock, they have to follow the rules of the laws. But now if they're suspended, now they're civilians and they can really do whatever they want. So a lot of times what they'll do is they'll just let a civilian that's really involved in whatever's happening in the case and let them go out and do the stuff, and then they don't have to worry about the law. So, I like it. You're good.
All right. The next one. If you decide to start dancing in the street, everyone you're going to bump into will know all the steps and join you. True. Right?
Well, that is true. According to the movies, it's 100% true. But, until I go out and test that, I'm not going to agree with it.
I would love to see you try this.
Well, I mean, as a matter of fact, I think I'm just going to put my microphone down. I'm going to go out in front, go out in the street and start dancing. And let's just see if anybody else comes out and joins me and knows all the steps. But
I would join you. I
you what?
would. I would join you, and I can
I
tell you someone else who would join you.
uh
If Amariah hears a beat or hears any music, that child wants to dance, and she looks to make sure you're dancing with her. She wants to see you. She recruits you to dance with her. So maybe Amariah will be key. She'll make sure everybody dances. I don't know, but she's a dancer, a big dancer. So
knowing that, let me add to what your deal was and say that it makes no difference how old the people are around you, even if it's a 1 year old out in the street. They will know the steps and start dancing. That's true. It's a true story. That's right.
well, okay, I'm gonna because Amarai likes to do what you do. So if you turn, she's gonna turn.
Uh,
If you raise your hand, she's gonna raise her hands. Yesterday, I was wanting to get her because we have little classes, even though she's one, we have little things we're learning, and I'm wanting to teach her to exercise a little bit. So I laid on my side and I started to raise my leg up and down, and so she lays on her side and she does the same, and that was okay. That lasted about 5 seconds. And then we laid on her back. I thought, well, let me try to catch her. And so I laid on my back and I raised both legs in the air. And this one she loved. She did the same thing and I shook him. And then she just did it and giggled and giggled. So there are some that may be out there, if they're like MRI, that literally would do every move you did in the streets.
there you go. You got it. That's fact. 100% fact on that. All right.
All right, here's the next one. We've learned from the movies that most laptop computers are powerful enough to override the communication systems of any invading alien civilization.
Any laptop,
Any.
no difference.
We somehow we're always able to tap into the alien invaders and destroy their computer system.
Yeah, it's a known fact. Yep, that's true.
Well, and have we used that on our journeys, Mark?
I use it every day. The last 3 alien spaceships that I put down, um, it was actually I didn't even use. I actually used my phone, and which now it used to be laptops, but now you can actually use your phone to put them down. It taps right in. See, it taps right
Wow,
into
that's amazing.
there, and it's really not so much the laptop as much as it is how it taps into the internet and goes through the system and then out through. So,
What can we say? Technology is great, right? Alien technology is, I guess, is just far inferior to ours.
so
Yeah.
alien technology. You want to talk about alien technology? That's alien technology right there.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. I'll go with you there.
That's fact. Absolute fact. That's alien technology.
All right. Here's another one. It doesn't matter if you're heavily outnumbered in a fight involving martial arts. Your enemies will wait patiently to attack you one by one by dancing around in a threatening manner until you've knocked out their predecessor, and then they'll go in. So you do not need to fear. The enemy just waits around as you knock out one. They'll just sort of dance and look threatening while you do one at a time. The enemy doesn't lay all their guys out at once.
That I have noticed that actually in every single movie, and there's a reason for that. Is that the main guy gets paid a lot more than the other guys that are fighting him. So you got to back off.
That's exactly right. I know you can hear my voice. So, okay.
Are you like putting makeup on or something?
No, somebody just woke up.
Oh,
Remember, it's still what? Just a couple hours sleep, a few hours sleep. So he came in and signaled. He signaled turn the camera off, so I did what he asked. So,
All right.
all right, here's
Maybe
another one.
somebody's laptop had tapped into your alien technology there and had shut you down for a minute. But go ahead. What's the next?
Maybe so. Maybe so. That's because what we were saying.
Well,
Here we go. No one, huh?
you did hear my answer to that last one. You were about the fights and everything. Why they don't all come at the main guy at once is because the main guy gets paid more than they do.
What can I say?
That's it. That's the reason. Go ahead.
That's it. No one involved in a car chase, hijacking, explosion, volcanic eruption, or alien invasion will ever go into shock. Ever.
Won't go into shock.
No, I mean you're just okay. Everything's together. Yeah.
Once again, it's because that actor gets paid more than all the other ones, so they actually make those other ones go into shock. While this one, hey, that the main actor has to get us to the end of the movie. I mean, why would anybody think they'd put that person in shock?
But
Now,
this is real life, isn't it?
Hold up. I do have an exception to that. It's funny you mentioned this, and I just thought I did watch another movie this past week that was really, really good. There's a movie on Netflix, and it's a Netflix original that I think it just came out too. It's called Spectrum, I think is the name of it. Spectral or Spectrum, just look it up. There's 2 or 3 main characters, but they're in a war situation and getting pound. I'm not going to tell you. I think you should watch this movie. This is a very good movie, by the way. If you like sci-fi, you like the spiritual world, then this movie is for you. It's a very good movie. But you got to like sci-fi and the spiritual world. It's very good, but it's here on Earth. It's not like them flying out in space or whatever. It's here on Earth. But there's a couple of 2 or 3 main characters, and one of them's a woman. And when they were getting, in battle and everything, she came out in shock. She couldn't hardly even talk with anybody or coherently do anything. But within a couple of minutes, she was perfectly fine. So.
Oh.
It still kind of works with what you were saying, but for the first couple of minutes, she was in shock. I mean, they couldn't do anything. She couldn't even drink water or anything. And then, of course, when they went to the next scene and they had to do something else, she was right there with them and everything was fine. So.
But don't movies reflect real life?
Well, of course they do.
Okay. So we know that can be real life too, right?
Especially sci-fi movies. And especially if you're the main character in your life film and you get paid more than everybody else does, then it all works the way you're talking about.
Okay.
Okay. Now.
Well, here's another thing we learn that happens in real life from the movies. When they are alone, all foreigners prefer to speak English to each other. We didn't know that.
Say that again. What?
When they are alone, all foreigners prefer to speak English to each other.
It is true. And it's interesting how they may have a slight accent when they start, but as they go along for the next 3 or 4 minutes, their accent kind of just
planes,
and they speak perfect English, and for the most part, most of them aren't even. I mean, they are completely from a different country, Afghanistan or France or something like that. And even though they may have this accent, their English is perfect. It's not like broken or anything like that. So yeah, you got it. You're right.
Well, here's another one, and I can't relate to this one. I haven't seen any movies that do this, but
this is fun. I like this. This is fun. You're in my area now.
I knew I was. Why do you think I picked it? Anyway, so here's another one that maybe you can relate to, but I cannot. In real life, you can always find a chainsaw when you need one. I can't relate to that.
Oh, that's good. I don't watch those kind of movies, but I will agree with you.
Oh, what can I
In
say?
the movie, if you're needing a chainsaw for whatever reason, the fact is you can. And here's an extra point to that. It will never start when you want it to start. I mean, until the person that you need to show your chainsaw to is within inches from you, then it will start.
There you go. Okay.
I love it.
When I hear the phrase,
car, though, it's the same thing with a car. It is if you're in a bad situation, and this happens literally happens in the Ben is Back movie with Julia Roberts. They're in a bad situation. They need to get out of there. They've been driving all over. Everything's good. Everything's fine. Good cars and everything. They need to get away from this house, and that car won't start. I mean, it literally won't start until they change drivers. And then, it's getting bad. They got to get out of there. And all of a sudden it starts and they're out. So same thing with cars, chainsaws, same thing. I love it. This is great.
Okay, here's another one. We've learned, so we need to be on the ready at all times. Any lock can be picked by a credit card or a paperclip in just seconds, unless it's the door to a burning building with a child trapped inside.
It's real true. It's real true. Yeah. And same thing with windows, breaking windows out. If it's if the place is on fire and you need to get in there to put that fire out, you could throw 14 bricks at one time at that window and it won't break. But if you just walk up and just like hit it like this, then the whole thing shatters. You're in. But then, of course, then you got the flames that are all coming out from the burning building. And if you'll just wait for a couple of seconds and let the flames go back in, you can crawl into that building, even though there's shattered glass all around the edges and everything. You just kind of move the shattered glass over a little bit,
and you come out uninjured.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh yeah. Oh no, you're coughing a little bit.
Oh, a little bit of coughing. Okay.
Just realize that if this ever happens to you in real life, you just got to remember what happens in the movies and be confident in that fact, and you'll do fine.
Have you ever tried to open a lock with a credit card before?
Oh, I do it every day.
Oh, okay. There you go.
We don't even use keys.
Is that
in the house? We don't. We use paper clips and anything. Some of my tools are out there, so we'll use little things and just to keep Adina and I fresh on being able to do that.
I thought that's what you were doing. I've actually been putting forth some security protocols to test you on our ship, and it seems like you've left little surprises for me in the areas you were never supposed to be. So I assumed that you were using a credit card or a paperclip to break through my security protocols.
You caught me. You caught me. I even use a credit card to start my phone or my laptop or anything. I just kind of run it over the top of it. Just to keep it fresh, Sandy. Just keep it
fresh. That's what you're doing. Yeah. Okay. Well, I have one more. Only one more.
Okay.
We've learned this, that in real life, because we've seen it in the movies, television news bulletins usually contain a story that affects us personally at the precise moment we turn the television on.
In the movies, that's 100% right. And if somebody calls somebody else and says, have you been watching what's on the news? Have you seen what's on the news? And they say, no. Well, go turn your TV on because you need to hear this story. And they'll go through 14 rooms of the house, get to the TV, turn it on, and it's just started.
And it's always on the right channel.
Oh, yeah. And always on that channel that has that story on it. That's exactly right.
Isn't that real life?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course it is. Well, why would you ever even not think that? It's the way it is.
Okay, so here's my question. People have something going on. They turn on Four Corners, the Messianic Lamb radio news, and it's going to be the precise news story they need at the right time. I'm telling you, folks, that's what's going to happen. So turn it on. Watch it.
Wow. Wow. Man, that was a perfect news promo right there. Okay, I have one of my own that is probably more important. I'm just surprised this wasn't even on the list. I'm really surprised about this. And I'm going to preface it with, I'm a finished carpenter. I spent years building houses down in Texas and north of Houston. And I and a friend of mine were in business together, and we would trim houses, and we had our nail guns, finished guns, heavier guns, all staple guns like this. They're hydraulic guns. And the thing is that we would load the nails into them or the staples into these guns, and you'd be working long and you'd nail this up and something, and all of a sudden you'd run out of nails or staples. Our immediate response is, boy, I sure wish they would invent a Hollywood nail gun, because a Hollywood nail gun would never run out of nails or staples, because in the movies, their guns never run out of bullets, or they have at least 4,000 clips of bullets that they can pull out and load in, pull out. As a matter of fact, they can be shooting a long clip, fall out, another one go in, and not even miss a shot.
Or 14 rounds in a 6-round gun.
I'm telling you.
Have you ever? John does this. Well, if we're watching something that is going to have that, he counts the rounds. That's 1, 2. Literally, while the movie's going on, he counts the rounds to see if they're going to stop at 6.
Sure. The way they get around that is that they have several people out there all shooting, and there's just no way you can keep track of everybody's gun and how much they're shooting. I'll tell you, and I know for a fact that you hate movies where it's a lot of killing in the movie and everything, and I have a term for that in movies that are that way. And it's so I'll always say, hey, you want to watch a movie with gratuitous violence in it? Because that's really all it is a bunch of gratuitous violence. It has no meaning, and there's no reason for it. And I'll tell you the 3 best movies, which is 3 of my favorite movies, and they are Sylvester Stallone movies. And they are Expendables 1, Expendables 2, and Expendables 3. Sylvester has put together the biggest cast of movie action heroes that's ever been assembled in any movie. It's always really cool when you go watch a movie and it's not just one actor, it's 2 or 3 or 4 big actors that you really like in that movie. That within itself will make you want to watch that movie. Well, Sylvester found out that in his first movie, he put together 2 or 3 of these in Expendables 1. Well, it was a huge hit because it had some of your favorite action heroes in it. Well, he comes up with Expendables 2, and it's got like 20 of your, and half of the action heroes are good guys and half of them are bad guys. And so then that makes it a big hit. So he comes out with Expendables 3, and it's like every superhero action, not superheroes, but action hero guys on the planet are now in this movie. And it's like half of them are good guys and half of them are bad guys. And it's like the number one movies for gratuitous violence. If you're into that and you'd like it, and by the way, don't even attempt to count how many bullets come out of handguns or machine guns. It makes no difference whatsoever because they have a soundtrack of bullets that are unmatched by any other movie ever been made.
I have a question.
Sure.
Maybe you can answer this, but on the first day of the week when John and I get to spend a little time together, we were searching through some movie. He's like, is there something that we can watch that's different? And he says, what about Robin Hood? And I said, well, let's look at the description of Robin Hood. It said great fight scenes and great choreographed action and fight scenes. And that was the total description of the movie. I told him, no. But I said, if that's the whole movie, great choreography for fight scenes and great fight scenes, I have no desire to see it.
But Sandy, it has Jamie Foxx in it. It doesn't make any difference. As long as Jamie Foxx is in it, it's going to be good.
Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen it.
But it's gratuitous violence. I would call that. When that's the description of the movie, it has nothing else in it but describing fight scenes.
Oh,
what hope is there for that movie?
Oh, you can be guaranteed one other thing in that movie, and that is a love scene. There's going to be a love interest in there and love scenes and stuff like that.
I will tell you this. John and I have gone, when we don't go to the theater often, but if we do, and it usually we watch his shows, not mine. I'd rather watch something sweet and, whatever. He doesn't.
Uh-huh.
And they get to the fight scenes and I'll say, excuse me. And I go into the hall and then I come back. Is it over? Uh-huh. And then I'll sit down back beside it. I know that's ridiculous that I do that, but I hate bad things happening to good people. And so I'm like, I have that in real life. I don't want it. So I literally walk out, or if he's doing it here, I'll go into the bedroom. I'll be like, I'm not watching that. I'll be back when it's over. I know. I just told on myself, and that's silly and stupid.
No, it's okay. Adine is the same way. I mean, she doesn't like those things, and normally I don't watch him while I come back here in the studio and watch him if I want to. Or we kind of have a somewhat rating system on movies that we're going to watch. But I was just looking through my whole list here. There's a couple of them out. We saw one last week and I know we got to go. I saw one last week that I rented, and I think you can only do on demand on Redbox with this, but it's called the Bookshop. I think something like that is what the name of it is. And it's kind of sad, but it's a good one. It's a good one. I would recommend it. I mean, but and it's not a love story or anything. It's just a pretty good one. Anyway, it stars the same woman, and I don't know her name, that went into shock in that movie I was talking about earlier.
All right.
Anyway, okay, we got to go. We got to get out of here. Jonathan calling.
Yes, he will. Hopefully, if everything's okay.
Tell him we all said hi.
I sure will.
Look at
it. And everybody that's listening, pray for him. He has spent a lot of the last couple of days in tears, so he needs some prayer and some encouragement. He needs y'all to just show him some glory today, and he needs to come home.
Okie doke. Of course, we all are praying for that.
I know. Just keep on, and thank you for doing it.
Yeah, no problem. We love all you guys, big time. So tomorrow morning, be sure and let's see, we'll have the war room with Daryl and Milena, and then sometime you might just check the uploads or check the website for the new uh, Four Corners Weekly News coming out. Other than that, I got Sunday is the new update, and it's got Sandy Craig in the update. As a matter of fact, I think you're mentioned 1434 times, maybe. I don't know something.
I'm so sorry.
So no, it's all about the Let Us Reason Together lineup, the morning lineup, all of which we're a part of. We're in the new update, so you might want to check that out. No, you definitely want to check. Don't ever not watch the updates. What in the world is the matter with you? Not watching the updates. Gosh, I don't get it. Anyway, I'm out. I'm gone. I'm done. Got work to do.
Me too.
It's all yours.
Oh yeah, I do that, don't I? I forgot. Father, we thank you and praise you and exalt your name. Thank you for that you brought together a news show here at the network that's going to go forth and bring forth truth of news. And thank you, Father, for continuing to connect Mark with other people to bring in good content and good shows, Father, to combat all the muck and the junk that's around us, Father. A place of a well of water, of food that we can be spiritually nourished here at the Messianic Lamb Network, Father, here on YouTube. Thank you, Father, for this resource, and thank you for the vision that you've given Ian Adina. Father, I ask right now that you go with us throughout this day, throughout this time. And Father, you know the tears that have been shed in every home, the things that people are facing, whether it's loneliness, whether it's illness, whether it's fighting for your family, your job, your finances. Father, you know what it all is, and we trust in you. You are the answer to it all. Let your word go forth in our lips and our mouths and bring forth life. Father, we call things that are not as though they are, and we praise you. We praise you for the answers to the answered prayer already. Thank you, Father, for taking care of your people. We will not worry, we will not fret, but we will trust in you in all things. We give our lives, we give the things that are going on in our lives, and we lay them at your feet. We thank you for the answer in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Amen. Oh, and in all things, be excellent to each other. Man, I just